Thank you for joining us. My name is Gabriel Williams, and I'm the CEO of Spectrum Research Group. Welcome to the Spectrum Report, brought to you by Anandanol. Anandanol is an herbal vitamin mineral blend that was created by a doctor and a pharmacist to help their own families with natural calm, focus, sleep, and social interactions. You can learn more about Anandanol and how it works by going to our website and clicking on the How It Works tab. We'll also have a lot of helpful links in the description of the video once we're done today. One of the reasons that we're doing this show here today is we hear a lot in the Facebook groups that we run about gut health and the connection between gut health and brain function. So many of the parents in our support group have seen some really big improvements in their kids and in themselves once they start to clear up their diet and improve their gut health. So today we brought Timothy DeLong, the owner and founder of Birthright Nutrition, and Leslie Nygaard, a naturopathic nutritionist, to talk to us a little bit about bone broth and gut health. So I'd like to officially welcome them both to the show today. And Leslie Nygaard, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Gabe. So my name's Leslie Nygaard, and as he said, I'm a naturopathic nutritionist. This August, I'll be a 10-year survivor of stage 3 breast cancer. And my focus is just really to help people with a variety of things that they're dealing with through nutrition and diet. So I'm a big believer in the connection between health and diet, and I have some experience with the autism spectrum disorder and diet.
All right. Well, thanks for being here today. And I'd also like to introduce Timothy DeLong. You go by Tim?
Tim will be fine.
Tim. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tim. How did you get involved in all of this?
Well, I've been in the food industry for over 30 years, and we've always been focused on natural food delivery systems. And we saw the attributes of bone broth, and we came up with the concept of producing bone broth in a concentrate. So it's a shelf-stable concentrate that has a delivery system where you can either make a cup of it or larger quantities and or larger sizes.
Okay, and how long? What did you say your background was? How long have you been in the food industry?
We've been in the food industry over 30 years. So,
okay, so it's not your first rodeo.
No, sir.
All right, great. And you know, one of the reasons, as I mentioned, that I wanted to do this show is we hear a lot about the gut-brain connection, and I travel to a lot of different health food stores and trade shows and places like that. And every time I turn around, there's a new bone broth product. They have powders, they have this and that. Recipes for making it at home, and it's just becoming a bigger and bigger part of the conversation. And when I was doing some research for the show, I came across an article that was on a website called bustle.com, and it was with nutritionist Lisa Richards. And the thing that I thought was really interesting and that I thought might be helpful to my audience is specifically this article was 7 different foods or drinks that can help with gut health. And I was kind of surprised to find bone broth on one of them. I thought about bone broth for inflammation and joint pain, and that's what I hear it mostly being touted for. But then from the article, it says bone broth is one of the gut healing drinks. It contains glutamine, which is an amino acid that Richard says has been shown to soothe and repair the gut. She especially recommends drinking bone broth if you suffer from conditions that may damage your intestinal membrane, like candida overgrowth, which I hear a lot in the support groups, or small intestine bacterial overgrowth. She said bone broth can help to reduce inflammation in your gut and heal the membrane. So this was kind of news to me. I knew that it was good for inflammation, but I didn't realize that connection for gut health. So one or both of you, please elaborate a little bit. How is bone broth beneficial for gut health? How does it work?
So the reason we say it's healing, and in the world of naturopathic medicine and osteopathic medicine, I want to make sure I give my disclaimer that I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a physician. I don't diagnose or treat disease. But we have a concept called leaky gut. We don't hear leaky gut discussed much in relation to children. But when your intestine is permeable, that inflation is a result of that. So when you have a system out of whack and you have particles, and I'm trying to keep it very simple and not too scientific for people, but if you think about it, you kind of have like a mesh, and when you have inflammation, those spaces become bigger and particles are able to escape. When those particles escape, it allows for candida overgrowth or bacteria to grow out of control in the lower intestinal tract. And I guess the way to think about it, I love how Dr. Oz often has like examples of things with balloons or things like that to show you in a simple, user-friendly way how things work. But the way to think about it is the bone broth kind of, I don't want to say it actually coats it, but that's the best way to explain it. It's providing a barrier. It's helping things not escape that mesh. And so as you start to reduce the amount of particulate matter that's escaping through there, then that starts to slow down the candida overgrowth or the bacteria in the lower GI that starts to proliferate. And so the longer you're using bone broth, the more you're healing that tract, the less it's kind of like once you're in that cycle, it compounds upon itself, if that makes sense.
Oh, certainly. And it sounds like it not only is it offering you the good nutrition, good protein, but in soothing the gut and stopping, helping to stop that leak. It's just kind of allowing things to work naturally and more normally. And when your gut is balanced and working naturally, you don't have that overgrowth. And I know candida is something that we hear a lot about in the groups. We have a lot of the kids, once they start getting through a process of a good diet, they'll even have a time where they're acting out, their behaviors increase, where they're having some candida die off, yeast die off. And it seems like there might be some damage left behind. So it sounds like this can actually help to soothe that so that the body can heal naturally. And that makes a big difference, certainly. So besides gut health, what other health benefits are there for kids or adults when it comes to using bone broth?
So one of the ones you touched upon earlier is joint health. One of the things that women might enjoy is there's a lot of people that say it helps with your skin and keeps you looking young. I'm 52 and I drink bone broth every day. So I think it's good for your skin and nails. One of the things that I think might be valuable to your audience, Gabe, is that it also has a lot of people say it may assist with calming and soothing and sleep and rest. So I do know that sometimes kids who have autism spectrum disorder do sometimes have a hard time falling asleep, settling down at nighttime. And so this can have a calmative effect, definitely better than a glass of milk, because I would say kids on the autism spectrum also have sometimes problems with casein, the protein in milk. And so when you're eliminating the highly allergenic foods from a child's diet who might be dealing with these kinds of situations, there's things that you can substitute in place of that. So it has a lot of uses other than just for healing the intestinal tract. Definitely for your bones and joints, and then your skin, as I said, but also with your mood and calming. And they're doing some clinical studies on using it as an aid to sleep as well.
Well, and something that I think is great about it is just the nutritional value in a small amount of broth, because, you know, a lot of the parents, again, I hear their kids are very picky eaters. It's very hard to get them to eat a variety of foods. So if there's a way even that they can trick them into getting something that's just very nutritious in them, it's extremely helpful. So besides the soothing and the helping the gut and the natural process there, I would think just the nutrients and everything that it offers can be extremely helpful as well. One thing, looking over your website and doing a little research, looking at the different types of bone broth and that type of thing, I noticed that you have your product is different than anything else out there that I've seen. Anyway, most of them are powders, or you can actually buy the bone broth that seems very expensive when you buy the ready-made bone broth. So how exactly is your bone broth made, and what sets your process apart from other companies? And can I just make bone broth at home myself?
Well, you can certainly make your own bone broth at home without a doubt. But what we do is we source organic bones from animal. They're all certified GAP, which is a global animal program that meets humanity certification. And those bones are cooked for over 20 hours, and we use vegetables in there, carrots, celery, onions. So they do have a little bit of garlic, and we cook them for over 20 hours, and we extract it down into a concentrate. And at that particular time, we do introduce some enriched gelatin and collagen. And the reason for that is to stabilize the product so we can consider it shelf stable. So we operate on water activity. So we have to have it at a certain level of water activity so it can be shelf stable. So there's not high sodium content, no preservatives, and no acids in it. There is a little bit of apple cider vinegar to help extract the minerals and vitamins out of the bones. So it's real food. So you have a high level of concentrations of minerals, vitamins, collagen, gelatin. And at that point, all you would have to do is take the product and take it from the container, add it to the cup, and add water to it to reconstitute it.
Well, and looking over, I was looking at the ingredients. I have the one that makes 5 cups of broth here. I have the beef and the chicken. Yeah. And this is it's a tub of the bone broth in the gelatin. And this one makes 42 ounces. Yes.
So, Gabe?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
You just went blank.
Okay.
I can't tell if we're still. Can you go on Facebook and see if we're still live?
Well, how would I get on it?
I don't think we are.
And how would I have access to it?
You can just go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep, yes. We got you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Good old Spectrum cable, maybe. I don't know. But
we lose you?
The one that I have makes 42 ounces or 5 cups of broth, and that's a lot for this little container. That's and then correct. You also have these really cool. I'm going to throw a picture of these up because I thought these were neat. So this is the big one.
That's the large.
But you also have these little individual packs, and they make.
Correct. So those are on the go. So you would remove the seal. They would insert a spoon into the side of it. It pops into your mug and add 8 ounces of hot water. You can add it from your Keurig machine or from your stove. We don't recommend any microwaves, and you stir and it would reconstitute back. One of the great things, you're going to have a really rich broth. The additional collagen and stuff, it's going to have a little bit of viscosity to it. So it's going to drink much better, taste better, and you're going to have 18 grams of protein for each cup of broth. So it's a little bit 9.25 ounces of final broth.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about it. It's just packed with nutrition, and it seems very easy to use. Looking through, I see almost all the ingredients are certified organic wherever appropriate. The only thing I did hear a couple comments on from some people that I shared it with. So I'd rather ask you now so you can address it for folks. Is the there is gelatin in there because rather than being a powder, and for convenience sake, it is the bone broth in a gelatin form so that you can just dissolve it in water. And I hear from folks sometimes are very concerned about the source of the gelatin in different products. So I hear, although I'm not sure why, I hear that there's an aversion to a form of gelatin that's made from the hooves, which I would assume would not be a big deal as long as the animal is, clean and free range and grass fed and all that. But when we talked before the show, you let me know that that's not even the case with yours. It's not made from the hooves. So what's the source of the gelatin for this bone broth product?
So it's bovine hide. So that's the gelatin, and then we use also a collagen peptide, which comes from bone. That's the source of that. They're both grass fed and meet that criteria, and they're all GAP certified.
Okay, good deal. So nothing to worry about. And it's funny because I even said to one of the people, it was a health food store owner, they said, man, this is a great looking product. What's the source of the gelatin? That was the only question they had. And we even discussed at the time, it must be a clean source because look at the care that they went with all of the other ingredients. And you, I think, have a philosophy like we do at Spectrum Research Group. With our neural balance product, we wanted a product that worked very well, and we wanted to make sure that it was clean as a whistle. You don't want to be, and we don't want to be, one of those companies that say our product works great, so what's a little bit of red dye? So you want to make sure that it's clean as a whistle through and through. So I really like that, and I think that our viewers will appreciate that too. Now, I mentioned that you have a couple different sizes. You have the 6 ounce. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. The 6 ounce, which makes 42 ounces. Correct. And then you have those handy single serving to-go cups. And I think that's great. But drinking this isn't your only option. We mentioned earlier, as I mentioned, sometimes it's a little difficult to get some of our family members to try different foods, or I can't even imagine trying to get a kid to sit down and just drink a cup of broth. But the good thing about this is that there's more than one delivery system. You don't just have to drink it that way. There are other ways you can use it as well, right?
That's correct. So we do have some recipes on our website, but you pretty much can replace whatever you would make that you'd be using type of a broth. Any type of chicken or beef broth in the recipe, you could substitute the bone broth.
Okay, good. Well, that's helpful.
One-on-one. So you can introduce it that way. You can also, you can take the broth and incorporate it into other things like smoothies or things that would, some type of drink sources that would work in the same way.
Right. So, I mean, I could see you even tricking your kid and mixing it using the bone broth and then throwing some noodles and a little bit vegetables in there, just telling them it's chicken soup or something like that. I haven't tasted it yet, but that's why I don't have the little packets anymore. I gave those to people to try, and I got really good feedback on it. As far as how it tasted and everything like that. I have friends who are runners and triathletes, and they're always into the latest, craze that's going on. And they really like those to-go cups. That came in very handy. Something that you can just throw in your backpack or something like that. So I really did like that. And so did they. So I guess tell us how much does it cost and where can people get it? I know you mentioned that you're in Whole Foods, but they can also buy it direct from your website or on Amazon. So how much is it, and how can our viewers get it?
So yes, so we have it on Amazon and on our website on birthrightnutrition.com. Both the 6 ounces at $19.95, and then the 4-pack is at $19.95, and both of those are free shipping.
Okay, so
either the beef or the chicken. So the price the same at
okay
at $19.95.
Okay. And we will, of course, after the show, we'll edit some of the descriptions so that we can have all these links and all of that we've talked about in there. So as viewers watch it, they can go right to the video description to purchase the product, to learn more about it, to go to your Facebook page and like it so that they can see anything that you have, any news that you have going on. Now, there was something that you had told me, or Hope had told me actually, about you have bone broth bars in select Whole Foods. Is that correct?
Not yet. That's
No.
the actual bar. That is correct. Right now we're testing in Whole Foods. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So we're here in the South Florida area. So it's in Miami. So we only have one, and hopefully that's going to be the beginning of bone broth going throughout the division.
Right. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I mean, it's one of those things where if it's quick and easy to get that good nutrition, then, it's certainly going to be a lot more beneficial for everyone, I think.
They have Earn set up where it's kind of a self-service application.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Well, I want to thank both of you for being on the show today. I always like to try to find things that are interesting and helpful to my viewers and our customer base. So if you have anything else that you want to add about how it is beneficial, or anything that you didn't get a chance to get in there yet.
Just that I think that the way that they've made a shelf-stable product that is so packed with calcium, magnesium, copper, potassium, zinc, iron, so many things that are good for you. And as you said, you can make your own bone broth, but I would imagine most people who have children and are two working parents don't have time to sit around and cook bones down for 20 hours. So it's amazing that they made a product that can provide you all of those benefits without you having to do all the hard work.
Well, go ahead.
We're truly the only bone broth on the market, a concentrate. Most of the other ones are powders, which are spray dried bone broth. So we are real bone broth, and there's no one else that is making the same product that we're doing.
Has this delivered? Yeah, that's what. And like I said, everywhere I go, all the health food stores, the trade shows that we've been doing over the last year or two, bone broth is definitely a growing segment, and it has a lot of great benefits for people, of all ages, of all need. Especially if you think about more finicky eaters and the need for us to find something that's just packed with nutrition that's really easy to absorb. So this is a great it's a great addition to, I think, anybody's diet, but especially, as we learned earlier, if you have any issues with gut health, then bone broth can help you in that regard as well. So thank you both so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Keep an eye out for the edits and stuff. All that stuff will be live tomorrow. So if you go through there and see any links or have anything else you need to add, just let us know and we'll make that happen.
Great. Thanks, Gabe.
Sure. Thank you. It was great talking to you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. So, Tim and Leslie, we really appreciate you guys coming by today. And I just want to remind our viewers that we will have all of the links on up in the description of the video so that you can go learn more about Neural Balance with Anandanol. You can learn more about Birthright Bone Broth. And check them out on Amazon, their Facebook page, see what people are saying about them all over the interwebs. And just want to remind you that if you would like tips and feedback from other parents and caregivers about our product, Neural Balance with Anandanol, you can join our Facebook group. Just search Neural Balance Support Group on Facebook, and you can fill out 3 questions and join, and you'll get great tips and feedback there. Also, if you haven't already, go to our Facebook page and give us a like so that you can stay up to date with all the different promotions, sales, and upcoming shows. Thank you for watching so much, or thank you so much for watching today. And remember, our motto is that we don't want to make your children manageable. We want to help them be who they are through great nutrition and great products. Thanks for joining us.